Somewhere along the way, you became the one who had it together, the one who did their homework without being asked, the one who remembered everyone's birthdays, who checked on the little ones, who quietly made sure the bills got paid and the plans got made, and no one had to worry. You were praised for it early, and the praise felt like love. You were relied on, and being relied on felt like purpose. And somewhere in between, a quieter trade was being made. While everyone leaned on you, you were learning that your worth is a job, that your value is what you do, not who you are. And the child who becomes the responsible one doesn't just grow up organized and dependable. Sometimes they grow up exhausted, resentful, and unable to rest, because resting feels like failure. This is the hidden cost nobody puts on the receipt. Let's start with why it happens. In families where parents are absent, overwhelmed, or emotionally stretched, the system needs a child to step up. That child is usually the one who's most capable, or the oldest, or simply the one who notices that no one else is doing it. So they become the mini-adult. They handle things. They don't complain. They make themselves useful, because usefulness is what earns them safety, attention, and belonging. And this is where the first lie gets planted. The family doesn't say, "We need you to be a child." The family says, through its silence, "We need you to be small and dependable." And no child ever hears that as a compliment, they just absorb it as a mission. Here's the part that makes it complicated. The responsible child doesn't look like a victim. They look capable. They get the highest marks in responsibility. Teachers love them. Relatives praise them. They're the mature one, the old soul, the one who never gives anyone trouble, and that external reward is real, which is exactly why the cost is so easy to ignore, because the same behavior that earns them applause is slowly teaching them that their needs are not part of the equation. Their tiredness is an inconvenience. Their feelings are a luxury. Their wants are secondary. And after years of that arithmetic, their own life starts to look like a task they're managing for someone else. Now let's name what actually breaks. First, the responsible child learns that their value is conditional on performance. Rest is expensive. Play is laziness. A bad day is a failure of discipline. And so the grown-up version of them can't relax without guilt, can't say no without panic, can't enjoy a moment without scanning the room for something to fix. Their nervous system runs on a constant low hum of should. I should be doing more, I should be handling this better, I should be making life easier for everyone else. Second, they become experts at caretaking and strangers to being taken care of. Because the role was built around giving, receiving feels dangerous. Being helped feels like being a burden. Their relationships often end up one-sided. They pour, they manage, they monitor what everyone else needs, and the quiet question underneath is always the same, but who's holding me? And when they finally allow themselves to be held, it can feel so foreign that they pull away. Third, and this is the one that surprises people, the responsible child often carries a deep, quiet anger. Not at their parents usually, at the arrangement, at the fact that everyone else got to be a child while they had to be the adult. They may not even recognize it as anger. Shows up as resentment toward being asked for too much, irritability at being needed, or a strange exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. Because the fatigue isn't physical. It's years of carrying everyone else's weight while calling it their own. And here's the cruelest part. The responsible child is rarely thanked for the thing that actually cost them. They're thanked for the dishes, for the grades, for holding things together. But no one thanks them for the quiet sacrifice of their childhood. No one thanks them for the years of suppressing their own needs. The family celebrates the result and never sees the price. So the responsible child grows up with a ledger that says, "I gave everything, and no one noticed what it took." Now, the work of unlearning this, because it can be unlearned. The first step is naming what was lost. Not what was accomplished, what was lost. The carefree parts. The permission to be helpless sometimes. The right to be the one who's taken care of. And it helps to say it plainly, even if no one in your family can hear it. This is where we stop measuring ourselves by the role and start measuring by the person. The second step is practicing small refusals. Not big dramatic boundaries, small ones. Saying no to something tiny, letting a task go undone, letting someone wait. because the responsible child was never allowed to disappoint anyone, and the word no feels like a betrayal. Practicing it in small doses teaches the nervous system that the world doesn't collapse when you take your hand off the wheel. It doesn't, and you get to see that. The third step is learning to receive, letting someone help you, letting someone carry something, sitting with the discomfort of being on the receiving end, because that discomfort is an old wound, and it heals by getting touched, not by getting avoided. Receiving is not weakness. Receiving is proof that you're not just useful, you're worth being cared for. And the fourth step is the deepest. You have to separate your worth from your usefulness. The responsible child's inner math says, I matter because I do. And the unlearning is a slow retraining. I matter because I am. Full stop. No performance required, no checklist, no apology for existing without earning it. That's a hard sentence to feel. And it's the most important one in this entire script. Let me speak directly to you now. If you were the responsible child, hear this. You were never supposed to fill that gap. The family should have had an adult there. And it's not your fault that you had to become one. The things you did to survive were real, and they worked. But you don't have to keep paying for them. You don't have to keep earning your place. You don't have to be fixed, or helpful, or steady before you're allowed to exist. Here's the reframe that might change everything. Your competence was never the price of your worth. It was the only way you knew how to be loved. And that's not the same thing as being loved. You are allowed to be messy, allowed to be tired, allowed to put yourself down first, allowed to be the one who gets taken care of. Not because you've earned a break. Breaks aren't earned. Because you're a person, and persons are allowed to rest. The responsible child was someone who held the family up long before anyone was there to hold them. And the bravest thing they can do now is stop holding. Not because no one needs them, but because they were never just a pair of hands. They were a person, all along. And it's time that person got their own turn. If this found you, subscribe to MindToAct for more psychology that sees the quiet sacrifices roles demand, and shows you how to take them back.